They said to me, Brad, the only reason that we're buying this house is because of the lawn gnomes that are in that backyard. And we don't want to buy it otherwise. But hey, you were supposed to leave that washer and dryer. It was in the purchase agreement that you would leave it. Now the buyers have gotten there. There's no washer dryer, so they're kind of angry about it. So they said to me, well, Brad, there was a lot going on. We didn't really read that in the purchase agreement. I understand we signed and initialed and dated it and everything else. But then, so finally, to kind of end the topic or end the question, Mr. Seller said to me, Brad, I'd still like to be your friend.
Even though I took the washer.
Even though I took the washer and dryer. So that was his way of telling me, you figure this out somehow, because we're not bringing the washer and dryer back. Okay, cool. Well, we are back. Nightmare on 123 Main Street. Welcome back, and thank you for watching and listening. I'm Brad Holst, your host. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast here, and we've been doing a few other things, mainly just eating and having an incredible time over Christmas and Valentine's Day and all these different things. But anyways, glad to be back. Again, we are a podcast. We talk about real estate nightmares. We talk about things that are kind of crazy and really crazy, and typically afterwards more just kind of funny that we get to laugh about. We don't say names. We don't say addresses. We're not looking to offend or embarrass anybody. We're looking to just kind of tell some stories from the real estate perspective, the agent's perspective, and so we talk about that. You can find us on our YouTube channel, of course, Nightmare on 123 Main Street, and then also on Instagram, same thing, Nightmare on 123 Main. And then website, www.the1867 Collective. That 1867 Collective, of course, is the company that I own along with Rachel Rinchler and run. Today on the podcast, I have Stephanie Tietjen. Stephanie, really looking forward to being able to talk with you. Stephanie and I, we know each other a little bit, but not like a ton. So it's always fun just for me to get to know people as well. So I think that'll be a fun part as well. So Stephanie, okay, so who are you with, and where can people find you?
So I am with Nebraska Realty, and I do land and residential sales.
Cool.
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, probably not as active as I should be.
Do you have a specific, what are they called, handle?
Yes, it's Sold by Stephanie T.
Oh, there we go. Sold by Stephanie T.
Yep.
Awesome. And that's Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
My Facebook might actually be Stephanie Tietjen. I'm not sure. I should probably know that.
They'll probably find you, though.
Yeah, you'll find me.
So, okay, land and residential. So how long have you been in real estate in general?
So I actually got my license in 2007, and I was in it for a couple years until the market crashed. I was a new agent, and I was working a full-time job, and I decided at the time that I didn't want to make a go out of it full-time when the market crashed.
Yeah,
Hindsight,
right.
I wish I would have stayed in it, but I decided to get back in when my kids were little, which was genius.
Even better.
I don't know what I was thinking, but so in about March of 2017, I got my license again since I let my license lapse. So I had to retake the test.
Oh, sure.
Do all that.
Well, you'll probably, I know Chuck's helping us out, you'll have something very much in common with Chuck. That sounds a very similar story to him with the 1867. So, well, that's awesome. Well, good. Well, okay. All right. So that's where you've been. Now, okay, let's hear your story. What happened to you?
All right. So I had a situation where I was representing a seller, and the neighbors and the seller, I think they had lived in the neighborhood for quite a while, did not get along so well. So the seller had a restraining order against the neighbor.
Against the neighbor, yeah.
So, which hindered open houses and such. I had to have lots of conversations with my broker about how I handle that.
Because were they like out saying things on the porch or
well, they would make random, of course, my seller had cameras, and they would make random trips by, and especially when the sign went in the yard, they got a little bit more concerned, and
right.
So they actually put signs in the alley with one of those red like siren type things.
Oh, okay.
So when you drove through the alley, it was motion activated, and this siren would go off.
Oh my God.
They would put these signs up saying horrible things. And I thought, I'm never going to get this house sold.
Right.
Because of just that. Because
Right.
I legally couldn't, I think it was on their fence.
Sure.
So it was technically on their
sure.
property. So I
Couldn't do
legally
anything,
couldn't
right?
do anything.
Yeah.
I had to ask every time somebody called to see the house. I had to ask the agent what their client name was to make sure it wasn't one of the
Wasn't
neighbors.
them, right?
So I made lots of friends with all the agents. They didn't really like that.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of out of my control a little bit.
Right, yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, they hung horrible signs. Probably, like, some of it was slandering. They probably could have got them in a
Do
lot
they
of
put
trouble,
like profanity or anything on there?
Yeah, profanity, guns, like they really
yeah.
liked them. They actually hung like an underwear from the sign.
Oh,
like
gosh.
ketchup or something on it. Just
What
like the
on
most
earth?
obscene, horrible things you can think of is what they did. So, I did actually sell the house, and it didn't take super long, but it was
good.
some college kids that bought it.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. So maybe they thought it was maybe kind of fun that they had these crazy neighbors.
Yep. So, and that stayed up for a while, even during walkthroughs, and so.
And everything. Well, right.
I held my breath the whole time.
I bet. Oh my gosh, because it's like, I mean, just marketing the house to get an acceptable contract, that's just the very first stage. You have the appraisal, the inspection, the walkthrough, all that stuff where, I mean, they could have really done some damage. I mean, it's kind of, really, you think about it, it's almost like, no, wait, if you hate these neighbors so much, wouldn't you be like helping them to move?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Why would you put that up? Because
Right.
you'd be so excited that they were leaving.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no.
Oh my goodness.
And I even thought, well, I wonder if I should have a conversation with the neighbor, but it was very sticky as far as.
Right. Well, I was just
Just
going to
mine.
ask, did they ever talk with you at all, or did they ever?
No, I think one time I could not hold. So what we decided, what we landed on with my broker at the time, was that I could not hold an open house because I could not assure who would enter,
Right.
and somebody could give me a false name, and
Sure.
and for my safety too, just because there were.
Absolutely. Who knows
Yeah.
what they would have done?
Yep,
Yeah.
it was just a all around. I mean, it was praise the Lord, hallelujah. By the time these guys left, we were
Right.
so happy to
Yeah.
be gone. But these same neighbors then started tailing them at their new house too.
What on earth?
So
Why?
they just
What
couldn't.
is the
Yes, they
deal?
just couldn't get away from them. So
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. Again, in my head, I'm just like, well, great, they're moved, they're gone, let's move on.
yep.
But, oh wow, that is crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. What? And so did these folks have families, or were they single? The
no,
two
it was a
seller and neighbors.
Yeah, well, they had a family, and I want to say the neighbors were, well, there was a couple separate neighbors, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I want to say one of the neighbors was just like a husband and a wife.
Uh-huh.
And I actually can't even tell you, I don't remember what the issue was. I think they literally just did not like him. Oh, they were
Yeah.
Christians.
Oh.
So that was also part of it.
Oh, wow.
So they
Okay.
did not like,
They didn't like that.
they didn't
huh?
like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah.
Gosh. Well, because that, I mean, again, it's, I don't know, it's never good when there's, I mean, such bad emotion and bad feeling between anybody. But when you start involving like kids and families, man, that's just sad, you know.
Yeah. And they had
Jeez.
kids, so it was, I mean, they weren't super young at the time, but
Okay, at least that's like a slight good thing. At least they could
Yes.
understand it better.
if I have
Oh
an
my
inkling of
gosh.
one of those next time, I'll just refer
Right?
along to you.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, sure. Exactly. I'll let them know I'm out of the business. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so nuts. Well, and I think, I mean, really, it's a good, probably even just reminder for you of like, okay, so here are some things I need to just keep an eye out on as you talk to new people and pick up on little things here and there. Because honestly, Stephanie, it's like, man, our business anymore, all of us have to do it. You know,
Yep.
because there's just too many people out there, unfortunately, looking to take advantage of realtors, and open houses is a big thing, right? So I'm sure that's why you were so careful about it. Because, I mean, geez, aside from even those crazy neighbors, there's other people that they're looking for an opportunity to maybe do something not so great, not so nice.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and it was borderline harassment. Well, it was
Right, it
harassment.
was harassment,
really.
right?
It was harassment.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have to, at that point, wonder if somebody's going to harm you inside, leave something for
Absolutely.
you. I don't know. We can't follow them around when they're at the when we're at open
Well,
houses.
right,
So
right. Well, and did you ever feel like did you bring, husband, family, friends, broker, anybody, did you bring people with you when you'd go over sometimes?
I didn't feel, I felt at a threat with
You
them.
felt okay.
I felt okay. And now because we can do so much electronically, there weren't, a ton of visits that I had to.
Sure, that's true.
That I had to go over. But I did feel like I had to give, not a ton of background, but I had to make other agents aware when taking their clients.
Exactly right.
And there's an explanation that has to go with this stuff, and then me making sure that have my client's best interest in mind, and
that's tough.
Just keeping their place safe, but then also making sure that nobody else is at risk either.
Right.
Luckily, they didn't have anything against, I don't think, anybody else. So
right.
I don't know how they're doing now.
Yeah, right. Don't care.
No, they're gone.
Well, it was that even like the primary reason why they were moving? Also, was because of the neighbors.
Yeah, that ended up being.
Sure. Okay.
I didn't know that at the time, right away. But after we got into it, that was one of the main reasons.
How long had they lived there for?
Well, they had. let me think. They lived there. I want to say at least 6 to 10 years, because their kiddos had. Growing up there for a while. They really loved the house. But they were just ready for something. I think his mom was going to move in with him, and
gotcha.
They were going to be caring for other people.
Because you see that, luckily not frequently, but you hear about those things happening around the country, where you'll see neighbors tossing leaves over the side of the fence, or they'll they look into the camera and they maybe do an obscene gesture or something like that. You see that more and more and more, and you always just you wonder, like, okay, so what was the breaking point, right? What made them the way they are, right? Of why they hate each other, sort of a thing.
Well, I think having to file a restraining order against your neighbor probably it's probably about time to move.
Yeah, so right? Absolutely.
I think they were.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is an absolute nightmare. Like the purest definition. Oh my goodness. You just, you just I could never imagine having to deal with that, because, typically your home is kind of your sanctuary, right? That's where you get to go to get away from problems in the world. Whereas with those guys, it's like, that's where they were the worst. Yeah. Right? Wow, well that is crazy. So definitely exactly what we just said, a nightmare. And again, I always kind of like to talk about practical applications and things that we learn from our different crazy transactions. And again, probably for you in this situation was definitely the safety aspect of it, and how important that is for us to be safe as we look out for our clients so much. That's our jobs. But really, truly, just looking out for ourselves is very important as well.
And I think the longer you do what we do, sometimes you tend to get lax in some of those areas. And so it was just a really good reminder to... Right? Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad everybody in the transaction was safe, of course, too. That things didn't get to that point, of course. But well, good. Well, awesome. Well, thank you. That was a wonderful story. It was very interesting to hear about. So, again, you can find Stephanie at Sold by Stephanie T. On Facebook and Instagram. So you're please do look her up. Stephanie's great to work with. We work together at the Realtors Association, and she's just nice to help me to do stuff like this in general. So I appreciate you. That's welcome. Really Thanks nice of you to do that. Absolutely. Nightmare on 123 Main Street. Again, follow us on YouTube. You can also find us on Apple as well as Amazon Music as well. You can listen to our podcast here. We will be having more. So do look us up, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thanks.